Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome and evening to That's Football. Hope you're all doing very well. Massive game tonight for Spurs. They are in the Champions League. They're playing Marseille and they could be saying au revoir in France to the Champions League and bonjour to the Europa League. GCSE maths, English, French. I failed. Anyway, look, here we go. We're ready to go for this. I'm excited about this. Not normally. This is the beauty of football, because not normally would Spurs against Marseille be an exciting game, but it's probably the most exciting game in the Champions League today and tomorrow, because actually most of the Champions League games are dead rubber. They're already sorted. We'll go through that later. But this is a game where actually, as you can see on the table next to me there, you've got Spurs top of the group with 8 points, Sporting second with 7 points, Frankfurt joint second with 7 points, and you've then got Marseille with 6 points. And basically, any of them could qualify, any of them could finish bottom. It's really interesting. Actually, I probably told a lie there. Spurs cannot finish bottom. Spurs can't finish bottom. There's no way, because if Sporting and Frankfurt draw, then Spurs wouldn't finish below both those. So Spurs will be in the Europa League or the Champions League. Marseille could still be in the Champions League. They could top the group. They could also finish second. And obviously Sporting and Frankfurt could top the group. Spurs, if they draw, will do it, I believe. 9 points for Spurs. If they draw, Sporting, that will be enough. So Spurs just avoid defeat, which I think might not play into Spurs' hands, because Conte and Spurs have been quite boring this season. So it might not play into their hands. Marseille need to win. Spurs need to avoid defeat. And that's how it goes. It's as simple as that. And looking forward to it very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. We've hit 800k subscribers, by the way. We did it on Saturday. Did we do it on Saturday or did we do it on Sunday? Big games coming up on Sunday, by the way. Very big games. I'll talk about those later. Champions League games. So I played the game. I've played the game. I'll tell you that for free. I've played the game. It's... I was just going to change that, but it's been done. So, Manchester United are not playing. Spurs are playing. And I want to give you the team news here. Manchester United are playing on Thursday night, and I'll be doing a watch-along for that for you. But let's get this rolling now, the team carousel. And as you can see, the first team to come up on there is Marseille. And you may well recommend or recognise some of their players. Lopez, Mbemba, Eric Bailly, Balerdi, Klaus, Rongier, Ferratut, Tavares, Guendouzi, Harit and Alexis Sanchez up front. So there's a few players that you may well recognise. Kolasinac on the bench as well, formerly of Arsenal. There are a couple of players formerly of Arsenal on that starting lineup. Guendouzi and Sanchez. Could they bite them in the ass? Lloris, Longley, Dyer, Davies, Sessegnon, Perisic, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Lucas Moura, Kane and Son. There is a vulnerability to that Spurs side. I just don't think it's that good. I'm sorry. Having seen them play against Arsenal, Man United, I will applaud Spurs, what's the word? Fight back ability. But I don't think the quality's there with Spurs this year. And I think they're vulnerable. I think they are vulnerable tonight. I do think they're vulnerable. And I think Marseille, being a bit of an unknown quantity, it's hard to say that they win, but I certainly don't think Spurs look that good. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what result I want as well. Do I want Spurs to go through to the Champions League? I probably do, because, Spurs in the Europa League... it doesn't massively matter. I don't think Spurs will win the Europa League anyway. So I certainly don't think they're going to win the Champions League. I'm quite indifferent. I think there'll be a lot of people wanting Spurs to lose, but I don't. I'm just looking for a game. I'm looking for a game that's exciting and interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I'd say that's what I'm looking for, and that's why I'm interested in this game tonight. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I'll tell you what is interesting. Oh, there, it's working now. I couldn't get my timer to work, but now I can. That's great. So yeah, look, I don't really think that Spurs lineup is as strong as it could be. Longlay's not played that much. I mean, Sessegnon at right back again. I don't know why you're not playing Jed Spence. Weird. One of the most exciting right backs in England last season. Got promoted with Forest. Gets a good move to Spurs. Doesn't get used. Yeah, Lucas Moura is okay. They don't really have anybody else with Richarlison injured and Kulusevski injured as well. But I don't know. Look, Spurs, what you have got to acknowledge is that there could well be a skill gap here between the French League and the Premier League. And we don't know how big a skill gap that's going to be. Yeah, but if there isn't one, it could be a difficult night for Spurs. Now, Marseille are currently 5th in the French League at the moment. 3 points off third place Rennes and Lorient. What did Marseille do at the weekend? Somebody just said. They drew 2-2 at Strasbourg. In the Champions League so far, they lost 2-1 to Eintracht Frankfurt last week. What else have they done in the Champions League? They beat Marseille 2-0. They beat Sporting 2-0 in Sporting. They beat Sporting twice, actually. Beat them 4-1 and 2-0. I'm just trying to see what they did against Spurs. They lost 2-0 to Spurs, didn't they? Yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It will be interesting. And obviously, we need to keep an eye on what is going on in the other games that are kicking off at 8 o'clock, of which one of them, of course, will be Sporting against Frankfurt. So, yeah, lots to keep your eyes on. And, let's go. Rest in peace, Takeoff, says Ephraim. I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about that sort of music scene, but I think it's just a massive waste of life, isn't it? I read the story this afternoon. Another American artist shot and killed. It's just sad. It's just sad. It's just wrong. Anyway, look, let's get on with it. 9 p.m. mark, says Chico. It's not 9 p.m, it's 8 p.m. here, mate. And the stadium makes this a tough game, says CG. And what would you think about Schlotterbeck as a backup centre-back for United? Schlotterbeck, hyper. Why was he shot, though? Says, I don't know. I'm really happy that United didn't get De Jong because they'll get that player in Iqbal, says Nemanja. Thank you very much. And Atletico are out of Europe, says Jez. Yeah, we'll have a look at all the other ones in a moment. But we have got the live stats carousel going around there. Match stats, obviously they'll update by the second. You've got the group stage there, the group for this game in particular, which will update by the scores that are going on as well, which will be interesting to see, especially with the Frankfurt game and Sporting. And fantastic atmosphere in Marseille. I remember this ground from the World Cup in '98, in fact. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I think that it's hard to predict. I actually think it might be a draw, which will be good enough for Spurs to go through. If Spurs draw, they're through into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. If they lose, they're in the Europa League. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what happens in the other game. There is no other way that Spurs will survive if they lose. They'll be out and down into the Europa League. Well done for 800k, says Nick Pope fan. Thanks very much. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. Get involved with the chat. FIFA highlights I didn't put up today. They're going out tomorrow morning, so there you go. Leon knocked out City over 2 legs 2 seasons ago, says I'm all in. Yeah, look, they're more than capable of doing something here. Marseille. I mean, I personally think that look at that Spurs back line. It's 5 in a row. I think Spurs might be boring here. And can you knock it? Can you knock it? They know a draw will put them through. Spurs lose 2-1, says Ryan. I think we've been waiting for Spurs to play well all season and we've not seen it. I don't think they're going to come into a game away from home where they know a draw will do and play well. But, and go for the win. What do you think of Xavi Simons, says Tumbleweed? In what sense? The player or the FIFA player? The clock's not on the screen. Okay, sorry. I will get it going for you. I have started it. There you go. Guendouzi bringing the ball forward here for Marseille. Have they got the cutting edge they're going to need? Guendouzi whips across over to the back post. And Spurs will clear it away. Yeah, just looking at the other Champions League games, if you're interested, by the way, they are, look, Napoli and Liverpool have qualified from Group A. So regardless of their games that will take place tomorrow night, although they're playing tonight, in fact, Liverpool and Napoli, irrelevant really, because they've both qualified. And if you're interested in that, Liverpool really aren't taking it that seriously. Although you actually they are. Salah, Firmino, Jones, Thiago, Fabinho, Milner, Samiskas, Van Dijk, Konate, Trent, and good cross into the box and just wide there. I think Lloris had his angles covered, but Alexis Sanchez got in front of the front post as the cross came in outside of the foot cross. And Sanchez got a little bit on it. Hard angle. Lloris is at full stretch and it just goes wide. Half a chance there for them. But yeah, in relation to Liverpool and Napoli, obviously we'll keep you up to date with that. Rangers and Ajax as well. But Napoli and Liverpool have already qualified. Ajax just need to avoid defeat to go into the Europa League. In Porto's group, Porto, they've already finished. Porto and Bruges go through. Leverkusen go into the Europa League and Atletico Madrid out of Europe altogether. Bayern Munich and Inter have already qualified, and Barcelona are already going to be into the Europa League. Obviously, we've got Tottenham tonight and Sporting, the most exciting group. Tomorrow night, Chelsea have already qualified. AC Milan will potentially, there's a bit of a fight for second place. Real Madrid and Leipzig basically qualified. Man City and Dortmund basically qualified. And PSG and Benfica have qualified. So really, the Champions League is pretty much done, apart from this fixture, which is why I'm watching it. But good start, good intent from Spurs here, from Marseille here. And I certainly think Spurs are going to counter-attack. Goal for Ajax, by the way. Thanks for that, Luca. 1-0 to Ajax against Rangers. Skibby, I can't believe it. I don't believe it, mate. Carlsay and Brumir in Scotland from Garders. We're playing at Ibrox and we're 1-0 down. I can't believe it. I've played the game. I can't believe it, Jim. Jim White's yellow tie. Let's go live to Ibrox. It's 1-0 to Ajax. Screw you, Ajax. In the first 5 minutes there. Guendouzi brings it forward for Marseille. He's getting on the ball a lot here. And it's good play into the box. And Lloris gets hold of it. Good start by Marseille here. Good start by Marseille. I think Haggis, I don't know whether I've tried it, Bath, but I get the feeling I might like it because I do like black pudding, actually, which is blood and horrible bits, I think. Watch out for number 21 for Marseille, says James. Trust me. Watch out for him. Number 21. Number 21 for Marseille. Keep an eye out on him. Who's wearing number 21? Rongier. Nice ball in behind for Alexis Sanchez. Valentin Rongier. He's 27 years of age. He's French. Yeah, I agree with you, Daredevil. I think Kulusevski being injured for Spurs has been a big problem. But they're not playing well here, Spurs. I mean, what's the plan, Spurs? Park the bus for 90 minutes? It's the Conte way. This season. Nice cross. Lloris will catch that. Spurs can get knocked out of Europe if they lose 3-0 and the other teams draw. I don't think they can, because surely it would be head-to-head. Surely Spurs head-to-head over Sporting and Frankfurt would keep them above them. Maybe. I don't know, actually. I don't know what Spurs head-to-head is. I'd have to confirm that for you. I don't want to catch it wrong. Let's have a look at Spurs. Tottenham. Well, here we go. Alexis Sanchez is going to shoot from a long way out. That goes wide. So, yeah, so Tottenham drawing with Marseille here. They drew with Sporting. They beat Frankfurt. They drew with... Yeah, they've got a better head-to-head over Frankfurt. They've got the same head-to-head. They've got a worse head-to-head with Sporting. But they've got a better head-to-head with Frankfurt. So a draw could drop them into the Europa League is what we're saying, isn't it? Because if I'm right, if they were to lose 3-0 here, Marseille would leapfrog them and Sporting would leapfrog them. But that's a big if. Oh, no. Is that Eric Bailly injured? Yeah. He is injured. After 8 minutes. We're never going to get rid of him, are we? We're never going to sell him because he's another one who's just made of bloody glass. What's the point? How do we get rid of him? Don't they have to buy him if they qualify for the Champions League? I hope we didn't do a minimum games. No surprise at all. I mean, to be honest with you, he's got even before the injury, he's got more straps on him than a bondage person. I can't remember what deal Man United did with Marseille, but I'm hopeful that we did a deal that if they qualify for the Champions League, they've got to buy him. Because if it's based on number of appearances, we are screwed. He was pretty taped up though, wasn't he? He's got loads of hamstring support. Got more wraps than a mummy. That's a good one, K-Flow. Its number of appearances says 3M. I thought it was to do with... I'm going to check. Marseille. Oh, God, you're right. The League One club are obligated to sign Bailly permanently, subject to appearances and Champions League qualification. Yeah, I wonder how many appearances he has to make. I think they'll qualify for the Champions League. But God knows how many appearances it is. Knowing John Murta, it's probably fucking... You know, Marseille will probably only play 50 games this season and Murta's probably set it at 55. Twitch will be back tomorrow, Leeds, yeah. I was down in London today. I couldn't do Twitch. I didn't get back till R4. If you check my Instagram, at Goldbridge Mark, you'll see where I was. It was Barnet. I did a little bit of a tease on Twitch, on my Instagram. Showed where I was, if you could best guess the ground. I was in Barnet in London town. North London. Good play down the wing here. That's a foul. That's a foul. Are you ready for Sociedad, says George? Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. A chance for Marseille to whip across in here. Spurs just don't look good this season, do they? I have been to Blackpool, yeah. Any good shows you recommend right now? I watched one with Stephen Graham on ITV. It concluded last night, The Walk-In. It's quite a serious matter, but I like a lot of what Stephen Graham does. Hi Mark, what's your favourite advert on TV at the moment? Personally, mine is Halifax, Stand By Me, says Toby. Yep, not a bad one. Cleared away by Spurs from the free kick. Good start by Marseille, but you know, the issue is with a lot of these teams, have they got a cutting edge? Have they got a sharpness to their game? Mark, thoughts on Twitter charging for a tick? Oh, I don't know. It sounds bloody ridiculous. I mean, what's Twitter going to become? Ultimate Team like FIFA, Mummy's credit card. Oh, look at me, I'm credible. Devil's Talk says, can you wish George Hopkins a speedy recovery? He got run over and now has to have his leg amputated. Rest up, George, and all the best, yeah. Who you got for the win, Mark? I think Spurs will get a draw. I think they're... You know, it's difficult. Like, I can't criticise Spurs in this situation. I know people are going to say how boring they are, and they are playing very, very boring. I do wish Marseille would score because Spurs are just going to sit in. But ultimately, if they draw this game, then they go through, don't they? So you can understand why they're doing it. But, you know, we're naturally going to lean towards the team that's trying to attack. Larry, are you going to cover the World Cup? Yes. Kulusevski injury really hurts us as Lucas can't create or finish chances. Still think we'll come through, says Bram. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with the way Spurs are playing, apart from the fact that they play like this every week. But in these circumstances, away from home, difficult environment, knowing that if they lose, they're out of the Champions League, then you know you can understand why they are playing a bit defensive. Brendan says, Spurs have been relying on the brilliance of Kane and Son and don't really have much of a creative spark outside of them. Why are you not covering the Liverpool game? Because it's a dead game, really. I know they've both picked relatively strong sides, Liverpool and Napoli, but they're both going through. There is a bit of a competition to finish top, but yeah, it's not the same, is it? There's nothing really riding on that, other than Liverpool trying to desperately get some, you know, motivation back in that side, which is, I understand. I mean, talking about the weekend fixtures, by the way, next watch-alongs, because I'm not doing Champions League tomorrow night, there's really nothing worth watching. So the next games I'm going to do are the weekends. I'm going to do Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, because we've got 4 3 o'clock games on Saturday. Leeds, Bournemouth, Man City, Fulham, Forest, Brentford, and Wolves, Brighton. Well, I think I will. I mean, they're not that good 3 o'clocks, but Sunday's fantastic. Chelsea, Arsenal at midday, we'll be doing that. Then I'll be going to United Stand for Villa, Man United at 2, and then I'll be back on here at 4:30 for Spurs, Liverpool. So a big full-on day on Sunday of football. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. But so far, so good for Spurs. They are 0-0 after 15 minutes. Had hardly any possession, but not really conceding anything big. It is a Super Sunday on Sunday. Arsenal-Chelsea will be an interesting one. Get the sneak ready, says Ronnie's game. It's head-to-head, not goal difference, yes. I will do Arsenal-Chelsea watch-along, but I will have to switch over to United stand at half-time. I'll still be watching Chelsea-Arsenal on the United stand, but I have to go over the team news. But I'll do all of Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think Arsenal will beat Chelsea on Sunday, and I think it will be a very significant win if it happens. I think most Chelsea fans would be putting themselves as underdogs. Lovely cross in by Spurs there, but easy for the keeper. Thanks for the super chat, Daniel. He says, I can't believe Sky aren't showing the United game on Sunday. They're showing the Newcastle game instead. Well, we can't be on every week, Daniel. Son or Kane, says Hall. That's a good question. I mean, I'll do a poll on that. You can answer that. I mean, it's not really one I've got a massive urge to answer, so you can do it. I think it depends what you want in your team. I think they're both fantastic players. It just depends what you want. If you want a goal scorer, it's Kane. If you want a left winger who can score goals, it's Son. Remember, he won the Golden Boot last year. I personally think that Son and Kane are suffering this year because of the way that Conte is playing football. Last season, Kulusevski, Son and Kane scored more goals as a front three from January to the end of the season than anybody. This season, I don't know why. I don't know why Spurs have changed the way that they play football. I don't really get it. It's weird to me. Sessegnon with the clearance. Marseille still on the attack. Here's Tavares. Nice ball into Sanchez. Good shots. Good save by the keeper. Corner to Marseille. Eric Bailly went off after about 7 minutes, injured. No surprise to United fans there. Cross comes in, headed away. Or was it? No. Son now clears it away. Hoofs it away. It's the Spurs way at Marseille. Will you be having guests again for the World Cup, says Stuart? You'll have to wait and see, Stuart. Not giving anything away. Will I buy the new God of War? No. I'm going to do some Football Manager next week, though. Goldbridge bought. I've got to do Football Manager this year. After my managerial positivity in the Sidemen charity match, it would be remiss of me not to do a Football Manager career this year. Nice by Sanchez. Still got it here, Marseille. Keeps it in. Lloris has got there. I just wonder whether Marseille are going to have the quality here in the final third. They've got the possession, but Spurs are very well used to parking the bus, as we've seen a lot this season. I've watched all of Breaking Bad, Finn. Enjoyed it. ZK says that Conte needs a new way to play. I do wonder what Spurs fans think about this. I mean, as I said, today it's understandable because they're away from home, final game of the group stage, and you can guarantee if Spurs tried to attack and got done on the break, Spurs fans would be saying, we should have just gone on there and defended. That's what we've done all season. So I do get there is a bit of a dilemma here for Spurs because even if they hadn't played defensively all season, you probably would play defensive here. Marseille in the box, shoot wide. I've seen stranger things as well. Two signings Newcastle need for top four in January, says Nathan. I don't know because I'm not a Newcastle fan. I don't know, mate. Don't ask me. I don't know. How will I know? I mean, realistically, Maybe a winger. I know they've got Almiron and St Maximin, but he's not. He does get injured a lot, St Maximin. So maybe a winger. Maybe another midfielder. I think James Maddison would be fantastic. Memphis Depay. I mean, very good, Pedro. Very, very good there. Pedro says Maddison and Memphis Depay. I think that would be two very, very good signings. To be honest with you, to be sure. I'll tell you who I think would be really good signings for Newcastle. And people might laugh at me, but I'd be worried if this happened because it would weaken us, Manchester United, and make them stronger. I think they'd be favourites for top four if they did this. Brandon Williams, Phil Jones, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. If they went and got those three, and they could probably get them for about 30 million for three, I think they'd be set. They'd probably be fighting Arsenal and Man City for the title as well. I'd be really worried if they went and got those. I think we all would. Son's just gone down injured. I think he just caught one in the face. Just on the poll, either or, Harry Kane or Son, 60% of you went with Son over Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane sometimes gets a bit of a bad rep, but he's a fantastic goal scorer. And as I said, I think some of the crap that Kane gets is sometimes based on the Spurs team that he plays in. Like, there's not a lot going on, is there? Karan says, I hope you're well, mate. Bay's buy option is Champions League qualification or 50% of Marseille's games, not both. So we need them to qualify. No way Bay makes 50% of their appearances, says Karen. If that's true, good. I read it that we need to do, he needs to have a certain amount of appearances and get Champions League qualification. But Golden Boot winner for the World Cup, says Gale. Gale Force Wind. It's difficult because I've not done enough research on what Brazil's starting lineup is. I wouldn't go too far away from people like, why is that whole stadium for Marseille closed? Why is that whole stand closed? Is it the Velodrome at Marseille? I seem to remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Paul Scholes score here in '98 against Tunisia for England in the World Cup? Get in the chat, boffins. Mark, any advice for No Nut November, says Smooler. You're an idiot. Apart from the fact you're doing it for charity, which is fantastic, but there's other ways of doing things for charity. So, which reminds me, my charity stream is 2 weeks on Saturday on this channel. We raised 30 grand last year. All day stream into the early hours, 2 weeks on Saturday. Make sure you join me for that. I'll be doing lots of things, lots of gaming. James says, have you failed, Mark? I can neither confirm or deny, but I will fail at some point. I just don't... Look, I can't knock people doing anything for charity. I think it's fantastic, but I would do anything for charity, but I won't do that. No, nuts, I won't do that. Life's too short. There'll be plenty of time for No Nut November when I'm dead. He's still down, Son. He's been down for about 2 minutes. Take him off. He's got to come off. It's a concussion thing. Think of the World Cup. No, he's coming off. He can't play on. Caught him right on the shoulder in the face. Can't walk steady. Take him off. Thoughts on Toby to Crawley from Sideman, says Nathan. It's interesting because if Toby from the Sidemen ends up playing for Crawley, then I think that I've witnessed firsthand what the standard is for League One. And he's a good player, but I think there's... look, let me put it this way. If Toby can play League One for Crawley, then Noah Beck should be playing in the Championship. And a couple of others should. I like Toby. I think he's really good, but... I don't, it's scary what league Noah Beck would play in, is what I'm saying. Mags 4, Villa 0. What are you saying about that, Mark? Says Jamie Taylor. Well, we've got Villa at the weekend, and it's Emery's first game, so I'm not sure. Sorry, Crawley are League 2. I still think that Noah Beck would be 2 leagues clear of anybody who played on that Sidemen charity game. I should have done a video on who I thought were the top 5 players actually on that, because that would have been good at the time. Yeah, I know it's only a training session, but a training session can lead to other things. Foreplay can lead to full action. You say it's only a training session, but you just don't know. Then again, I could probably manage Crawley Town, let's be honest with you. Palm says Mini Mint is better than Noah Beck. You don't know football, do you? And Simon's very good at football, but he ain't Noah Beck. If you know ball, you know ball. Who were the top 5 players? I'll come back to that at some point because we're trying to watch this game. It started again now. I mean, I think Son's come off, hasn't he, for... Has he come off, Son? Imagine if Newcastle bought McTominay, Fred, Williams, Wan-Bissaka and Jones. They would win the Champions League. Don't give them any ideas, Jack. Oh, that would destroy our chances. Basuma's on. Yeah, Basuma's on. And Son is off. I mean, that just makes them even more defensive, doesn't it? They're basically playing a 5-3-2 now. Mark, where would you rate Joel Linton on Premier League midfielders? I think he's very underrated, says Jamie Taylor. I think Joel Linton is one of those Newcastle players that sort of reflects Newcastle. His quality is, massively improved from when he first came. But look, there's no doubt he's a top player. James says, with Eric Bailly, Marseille have to spend £5 million on Eric Bailly if they qualify for the Champions League. I mean, some people might say that's a bad deal, but he's so injury prone. I think £5 million isn't a bad deal. I mean, look, we're not judging Eric Bailly the player. We're judging Eric Bailly the injury list. And £5 million for Eric Bailly is not a bad deal, really, because he's ridiculously injury prone. Spurs are actually having an attack here. Marseille need to move now. Spurs have got to counter quick. They don't seem to have the numbers, Marseille. They don't seem to have the numbers. What was for dinner? I had jacket potato with chili and a green salad, and it was lovely. It was very nice. Sprinkled a bit of cheese on it. Yeah, Son's gone off. Basuma's come on. Head blow to Son. Has to come off in those circumstances. We saw what happened with Martinez at the weekend. Ridiculous that he ended up being kept on. What should we do at half time? Give me 8 things as a competition. I mean, we could do World Cup again. Who's going to win the World Cup now that we're closer to it? But I still think we'll end up with the same outcome. I'd rather do something a bit different. I just need top 8 of something, and then we do quarterfinal, semi-final, final. Last week we did stadiums. We've done captains in the past. We've done managers. I just need 8 things. Bayern have scored. England's first 11. Ooh, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, let's do England's first 11. I quite like that. It's not 1-0 to Marseille. Good cross here. It is a good cross. No one's really attacking it. Hit it bottom. Oh, great shot by Marseille on his left foot. I don't know who it was who hit it. He's hit it really well. Tyson Fury beef, says YouTube stars. And Mark, as soon as played the game, I'm unsure, says Joe. It was a good save by Lloris. Best chance of the game. Corner to Marseille. Who hit that? Veretout hit it. Thank you very much, Mr. L. Cross comes in. Headed away. Just shows you. Just shows you. I think if Spurs concede, they're in big trouble. Marseille have got to push up, you know. How's Eric playing to Sports HQ? Probably playing with his phone. He's off. He went off injured in the first 8 minutes. What won best stadium poll? Yeah, Old Trafford. Zane says, come on Marseille, beat this pub team. Mark, who's top of the league? Who's the only team to beat Arsenal this season? I'm not doing Christmas movies on a football channel, Leo. Top 8 flavours of Heinz soup. Yeah, we're not doing that, but I'll tell you for free. Oxtail's the winner. Here we go. Spurs have got a chance. Oh, right across the 6-yard box. Cross came in. Offside anyway. I really enjoy your shows, Ben Foster, says RK. Yeah, I enjoy doing them actually. They're good. They're good. Eric Bay's top 8 injuries, says Martin. I mean, to be honest, you probably could have a top 8 out of his many that he's had. Kyle says, Rangers still think it's Halloween. What a bunch of clowns. They've not done well in the Champions League, have they? And they won't be in the Europa League this year. It's straight out of Europe, which is a horrible feeling. And I know some people think that you shouldn't even get to drop down to the Europa League, but that has been in place for a long time now. But yeah, finish 4th in your Champions League group and you're out of Europe. And that's where Atletico Madrid and Rangers are going to be. Ajax will be in the Europa League. Did Harry Bain go as a ghost for Halloween, says Rory. I'm Harry Bain. I'm Harry Bain. And I did go with myself at Halloween. Who's more boring, Southgate, Maguire or Starmer, says Zayn Miassi. Gone a bit political. Top summer signings, no point doing that because it's Erling Haaland. It's like doing best number 10 in the Premier League. There's no point. Be De Bruyne. Mark, any advice to deal with favouritism in the workplace? Love these watch-alongs, says Juan. Get a new job. If you work in an environment with favouritism, then you're never going to be rewarded for being a better worker. Who is better, Mark? Bruno Guimaraes or your Bruno? And don't lie. At the moment, Jamie Taylor, I think every Manchester United fan would admit that Bruno Guimaraes is the better Bruno at the moment. Here's Harry Kane down the left-hand side. Very wide down the left-hand side. But does win a corner. It's pretty impressive that Spain won 2 Euros and 1 World Cup back-to-back. Do you think there will be another European team who could do better, System Colour? I don't know, is the honest answer. Thank you for making your content, says Joe Maurice. Thank you very much, mates. And we have got 8 minutes to go to half-time here. I think we just wanted that Marseille goal to happen a little bit sooner, didn't we? It's not even happened yet, but Spurs are boring the life out of us, and Marseille just lacking that cutting edge. But in the last half an hour, it will get very interesting. Mark, says Jamie Taylor. What made you want to do your YouTube, and did you see yourself being able to make a good living from it? Not at all, Jamie. I mean, it was really just an experiment at the time, many years ago, and I just wanted to create a space where people could debate football, because I was very fed up of mainstream media scripted bullshit, which has actually got worse. I'm actually so grateful that we have got this platform to chat about football, because the things that frustrated me 8 years ago are even worse now. So yeah, that was why I set it up. But no, I had no aspirations about it turning into anything. Marseille are in the box here. Still, it's out the box now, but Veretout has it. Spurs, every man behind the ball apart from Harry Kane here. And Spurs will clear it away. They've got so many people back. Do you think Delo has been the best right back in the league this season, says Bay? Tell me a better one. Sporting are leading 1-0. Thank you very much for the update. So Sporting are beating Frankfurt 1-0 here, which puts them top of the group. Do more book titles that will never get released, says TH. Yeah, we could do that. Name me a better right back than Delo. Ben White's been good, but I think Delo is better. Ben White's been very good, deserves to go to the World Cup, but I don't think Ben White's a right back for me. I think he's a centre back playing at right back, and he's doing a very, very good job at it, but I prefer Delo. Trippier's had a good season as well. Cancelo's been playing at left back, so let's not pretend he's a right back. No, yeah, he has. I mean, even at the weekend he played at left back, and they play Akanji at centre back, so at right back. So yeah. Respect, mate. You've done an incredible job, says Jamie Taylor. Well, I think it's. I think there's a lot of people. Let's run a poll. You know, I'll listen to the chat. Best right back, Delo, White. There we go. Mark's top 8 analogy, says Tom. Books that will never get written. Oh, you know, How to Win the Premier League by Steven Gerrard. I Played the Game by Graham Souness, which he actually did, actually. Reece James, for me, this season, has not been better than Delo or Ben White. I think he's... We're not talking about the best right back in the league. We're saying who's been the best right back this season. How to Polish Trophies by Tottenham Hotspur. That'll never get written. Oh, lovely cross in. He's right in front of the goal. Marseille, yeah, just it's basically that's a Harry Maguire header. That is win the ball, but I've got no idea where it's going. Hi Mark, I want my daughter's netball finals the other day. Says MK. Okay. Okay. Injury Free by Eric Bailly. There's a book that will never get written. I like these. Trippier, more clean sheets and chances created, says Shell. Yeah, I think Trippier versus Deleuze is a better one. Good play here by Tavares down the wing. Cross comes in. Too much on it. Shouldn't have cleared it. They've still got it here. 3 minutes to go to half time. How to brush your hair by Eric Ten Hag, says Luke Jones. No. Top 10 haircuts by Pep Guardiola and Eric Ten Hag. That'd be good. With a forward by Anthony Taylor. I almost won the Euros by Southgate, says Tumbleweed. Entertaining Football by Gareth Southgate. Life and Soul of the Party by Gareth Southgate. Top 8 Mia Khalifa scenes, says Noob. Well, you can crack on with that, mate. Trips is the GOAT, which watch him live every week. Why you don't want him, Mark, amazes me, says Jamie Taylor. Let's hit half time here. Leadership by Harry Maguire, says Jazz. How to Play Beautiful Attacking Football by Diego Simeone, says Aram. Unbreakable by Anthony Martial. How to Play Out from the Back by Thibaut Courtes, says Kyle. Offside by Speed, says Dima. Harry Maguire in the Chamber of Defensive Mistakes, says Maguire Slab. He played well at the weekend, you know. Marseille are still on the attack here. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen. They've got good cross. Tavares will keep it there. They've done well. Needs some help. Edge of the box. Lucas Moura's done well there. Throw in. A few seconds to go. I've had a super chat here from Luke Jones. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. Gareth Southgate with a forward by Tony Pulis. That was from Luke Jones. And Mark, you should check on Wisconsin volleyball team, says Ronnie Pickering. I'm Ronnie Pickering. Why? I've never heard of it. I'm Ronnie Pickering. I love that video. Ronnie Pickering. I'm Ronnie Pickering. Don't get me started on Ronnie Pickering. Never heard of you. I'm Ronnie Pickering. Lexi Sanchez. So congested in that Spurs box. That's the problem. Nice ball out wide. 7 minutes added on here in the first half. How to Maintain Your Trophy Cabinet by Spurs FC. Top 5 European adventures. Top 5 European trophies by Manchester City. FIFA upload in the morning, Riz. Corner to Marseille. Cross comes in. Not a bad one. Headed away. Bursting onto the scene by Mika Richards, says Joe. And Mark, were you ever scared on what people would think when you started your YouTube channel, says Jamie? No, a lot of people hated my early stuff, to be honest with you. How to Negotiate by John Murta. Goal! Marseille! It's in! It's a great header. I think it's number 99. What a goal! And it's a goal for Marseille. And it's from a cross. Goal Marseille. Get in there. Lovely stuff. Absolutely opens this game up. You know what? I'm not anti-Spurs, but I'm pro-football. And it's just boring. It's been boring from Spurs. Sitting back, doing nothing. And now, Mbemba. Not Mbamba, somebody completely different. Mbemba scores from a header. It's 1-0 to Marseille. And this game is opened up now. It's totally deserved. Spurs have been bloody dreadful. 70% possession by Marseille. Spurs have basically come here and said, we're going to try and just defend for 90 minutes. And if you do that, I'm not saying it's not understandable, but you've got to have a bit of a plan. You've got to have a bit of a plan to attack. And I don't blame Spurs or Conte for going, let's not get beat. Let's keep it tight. But they've done more than that. They've basically just sat back with everybody behind the ball. And they've had no attack plan at all. And that is a deserved goal for Marseille. And hopefully we'll get a better second half now. 1-0 to Marseille. Fantastic. Fantastic for the game. And Spurs are in the Europa League at the moment. We're Sporting. I'll show you, actually. I'll show you. I can show you. I don't need to tell you. I can show you. So let me go straight to here. Let me take it. Let me pause it. That is how the league table looks at the moment. Sporting top, Marseille second, and Spurs drop down to third. Lovely header. The atmosphere in France, Marseille now is fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very, very welcome. So I just need to reload this. Just realised it's a bit broke. Now, see, what'll happen now is Spurs will start to attack. He'll have to make some attacking changes because they've basically been playing with a back 10. It's going to be hard for Spurs now to change the momentum of this game. The Marseille Ultras kick in. Absolute limbs, says Alexander. I just think as the game's gone on, more and more of us have actually wanted Marseille to score because it's anti-football by Spurs. And as I said, you can go to this game and say, look, we can't concede. But sometimes the best way not to concede is to not invite 70% possession. You know, they've just it's just anti-football by Spurs, and that's what's going to annoy Spurs fans. Yes, we've got to be defensive, but we've also got the best way. Sometimes the best form of defence is attack. To not attack at all leads to 70% possession. It was your legend from TUSFC, Mark Mbemba, with the goal. I don't think it is him, is it? I don't think it's him because I got him from Bruges. Mine's Mbamba. Yeah, I've got Noah Mbamba. He's only 17. He's in Belgium, Club Bruges. Marseille still dominating the ball here. How to Comb Your Hair by Eric Ten Hag. It's been done, Liam. We're doing book titles that will never get written. Passing Between the Lines by Fred. He's not that bad actually this season. He's a former Newcastle player, Mbemba. So we're just about to hit half-time here. 1-0 to Marseille. Exactly what we would have wanted as a neutral. I think this game deserves it. Let me just take and pause this. This is the stats so far. Ah, fucking look at that. That is torture for a Spurs fan. 71% possession for Marseille. 7 shots to 0. 3 shots to 0 on target. 5 corners to 1. 362 passes to 163. 92% accuracy in passing to 80%. That's crap from Spurs. I'm sorry. There is, let's keep it tight. And there is, we're a bunch of prats. That's shocking, that is. Anyway, they've got a corner here. They scored 2 the other day. Nearly scored another one. Ooh, just shot wide. I think that's going to be half-time. Keeper's getting a bit angry with the referee here. Don't really know what about. But let's stop the clock. Spurs are halfway to the Europa League. Halfway to the Europa League to join their North London rivals Arsenal. And Manchester United, of course. But it's 1-0 to Marseille at half-time. Those stats are shocking. Absolutely shocking. Common courtesy by Jamie Carragher, says Joe. And if Spurs go out, is Conte in danger of the sack? Absolute terrible. Terrible. Terrible tactics by Arsenal, by Spurs. Yeah, so, yeah, that's where we're at half-time. 1-0 to Marseille. Totally deserve it. Let me just show you this. This is how it stands in relation to the actual league tables at the moment. With Sporting Lisbon currently winning, that puts them top of the group. Marseille winning, that puts them second, and it drops Spurs down to third place. So at the moment in time, Spurs would be down and out in the Europa League. Frankfurt would be out of Europe completely. That's as it stands with Sporting winning. If Frankfurt were to equalise, would that help Spurs any more? No, because Sporting have got a better head-to-head record than Spurs, so that would still put them down. I think Sporting drew with Spurs and beat them. So, yeah, Spurs need to win now. No. No. If Spurs draw, they're through. But if Sporting draw with Frankfurt, they're still through. If Spurs lose. I think that makes sense. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. What's the score in all the other games at the moment, Mark? We're going to do England's starting 11 in a minute, but let me just go through the scores at half-time here to let you know what the interest is. Liverpool are 0-0 with Napoli. Ajax are 2-0 up against Rangers. Bayer Leverkusen drew 0-0 with Club Brugge and went down to the Europa League. Club Brugge and FC Porto, who beat Atletico Madrid, went through. Atletico Madrid are out of Europe completely. Bayern Munich are beating Inter Milan 1-0 at the moment. Barcelona are beating Victoria Plzen 2-0. They'll be in the Europa League anyway. I've spoken to you about Marseille and Sporting. That's where we are with that at the moment. If you're interested in the Championship, Coventry are beating Blackburn Rovers 1-0. Middlesbrough are beating Hull 1-0. And Preston North End are beating Swansea 1-0. There are other games in League One. Selected others. Morecambe are beating Derby 1-0 at half-time. In League Two, Barrow are 3-0 up against Colchester United. And in the National League, Solihull Moors are 0-0 with Maidstone at the moment. Torquay are beating Aldershot 5-0. Wrexham are 1-0 up against Maidenhead. And yeah, that's about that, where we are at the moment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we're going to do England's best 11 for the World Cup at half-time. So get your thinking caps on. You'll be voted for by you. We'll go from goalkeeper all the way through. It's voted for by you. Join in the half-time debate. Let's go. Where's my thing? There we go. So let's start off with the goalkeeping situation. Let me end the poll there. Delo beat Ben White with 71% for best right back of the season so far. Right, let's start a poll. We'll go England's best 11 for World Cup. It's going to be good, this. I'm looking forward to this. Get your votes ready. You will be involved. So I will do Pickford, I will do Ramsdale, and I will do Pope, because sometimes there will be 3. So get going. Who would be your goalkeeper for the World Cup? It's voted before by you, good people. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. You're very welcome on That's Football. It's for everybody here, and you are very, very welcome. Goalkeeping situation I can't talk about. I'm thinking about who would I have at right back. Who would I have at right back? Yeah, we'll go through that in a minute. But look, just while you're voting, lots to get involved with. We do lots of debates and polls. We are going to be covering every game in the World Cup, the Watchalong. Did you know that a week on Sunday is the last day of the Premier League before the World Cup starts, which means 2 weeks on Sunday. Yes, 2 weeks on Sunday, the World Cup starts. Crazy, isn't it? But that's what happens. 2 weeks on Sunday, the World Cup starts. So, yeah, Spurs shocking in that half. Dreadful. I've got no problem when you need a point in the last Champions League game that you keep things tight. What I do have a problem with, and I'm not even a Spurs fan, is you've got to have some sort of attacking intent, and Spurs had nothing, absolutely nothing. They basically were parking the bus for 45 minutes. Dreadful way to approach a game. Ramsdale is looking like he's going to be the goalkeeper here. He's got 43% of the vote. I'll give it a few more seconds. Thanks for all your super chats tonight, by the way. Really, really appreciate it. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. I actually feel quite good today, considering I was up at 5:30. I've been in a car for 5 hours at London and back, constantly working all day, working on a script. I think it's going to hit me later. I'm going to be honest, Mark. I don't see us getting past the round of 16 in the World Cup. Obviously, I want us to, and I'll get back our backers, but I think we'll go out, says Joe. Well, that's the whole point of doing this, really. We're only 50 subscribers away from 801,000, by the way, so please do subscribe. So let's count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've got Ramsdale in goal for you then. There we go. So let's go with the right back. Now, I need some suggestions here. We're going 4-3-3 with this formation, by the way. So we'll have a back 4, 2 holding midfielders, whatever you want to call them, a 10, a wide left, a wide right, and a forward. So let's go to right backs. Now, Reece James is out of the World Cup. Kieran Trippier has to be there. Arnold has to be there. I don't really think there's anybody else. I mean, is Kyle Walker going to be fit for the World Cup? That's the main thing. And we're talking starting right back. I don't know whether Kyle Walker's fit for the World Cup, you know. He'll take him. Kyle Walker and Calvin Phillips are both likely to be fit for the England World Cup. I wouldn't take Calvin Phillips. I wouldn't take him. I think that's bang out of order. I mean, even before the injury, he's hardly played. So we'll put Kyle Walker in there for your right back. Your starting right back. Trippier, Kyle Walker or Trent. Looks like Kyle Walker will be fit for the World Cup. So we'll throw him in at right back as an option for your starting 11. England's best 11 for the World Cup. And then we can judge that 11 and see what we think. I don't think Calvin Phillips should even go to the World Cup. You've got Ward-Prowse, you've got Bellingham, you've got Rice. I don't think you need to take Calvin Phillips as well. Yeah, I don't think you need to. Ben White at right back for England. No thanks. I don't think he should be in there at all. Ben White at right back over Trippier, Trent or Kyle Walker. I think he's had a good season, but no. Trippier has won it by a landslide. We don't even need to hold on to this. He's got 60% of the vote in a 3-horse race. Trent's got 17%. Kyle Walker's got 23%. Let's do the centre-backs. So right-sided centre-back. Let's go with, well, I suppose John Stones. Who are the centre backs? You've got John Stones, Harry Maguire, Tamori. It's hard. I mean, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, Dyer. Yeah, Stones or Dyer, I suppose. I mean, it is going to be Harry Maguire as left-sided centre-back. There's nobody who's going to beat him for that. I think Stones versus Dyer is interesting, but I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be anybody else other than Stones and Maguire. I mean, to be honest, we're not going to play a back four, are we? We're going to play a back five. This is the stupid thing, but it's your best 11. We won't play a back five. We're not Southgate. In fact, books that will never get written. 4-4-2 by Gareth Southgate. He's never going to write about that, is he? So yeah, John Stones wins that one, and the poll and left-sided centre back. Okay, I've got a few. I've got a late entry here. Maguire, Tamori, who may not even go to the World Cup. White, Dyer. I'm going to do a four-way. I'm going to do a four-way there. So Maguire, Tamori, White or Dyer to play next to John Stones in a back four. Your choice. Boom shakalak. Boom shakalak. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. Get your votes in till the boat comes in. The Art of Winning Trophies by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, says SK. No, I think the best one for Solskjaer is managing after Manchester United. That'll never get written. Wow, I'm very surprised here. I'm very, very surprised here by the by what's happened in the chat, because we've got a rather interesting scenario going on, whereby I don't get. Make this make sense. Harry Maguire's on 16%, Ben White's on 27%, Dyer's on 6%, Tamori's on 52%. I mean, Stones is the right-sided centre-back, Lewis. He will never pick Tamori, but it's your pick. So there you go. You've gone with Tamori. There we go. It's a democracy. Let's go left back. Left back for England's best 11 in the World Cup. Interesting one, this. It's a straight fight, isn't it? Chilwell. I mean, he might, knowing Southgate, he'll probably play Trippier, but it's going to be Luke Shaw, isn't it? And it's going to be Chilwell. Who both have improved a lot from maybe the first month of the season where it looked a little bit dodgy. So Shaw or Chilwell for left back? Get your votes in. What midfielders have we got as contenders then? I mean, you've got Ward-Prowse, Bellingham. CDM. Who else have we got at CDM other than Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham? I suppose you've got to Jordan Henderson, haven't you? Jordan Henderson. Yeah, we don't need to take Calvin Phillips. You take Jordan Henderson, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, James Ward-Prowse. You don't take... You know what? If Southgate takes Calvin Phillips and he doesn't take James Ward-Prowse, I'd sack him before he even gets on the plane to Qatar. Still fuming you've ignored Dan Burns, says Joshua. Sorry, pal. Luke Shaw's won that one. 71% of the vote. On form at the moment. He probably is ahead of Chilwell, but that could change still in the next 2 weeks. Right, we're going to do CDM here. CDM, the number 6. Not the box-to-box, the number 6. You've got Henderson, Rice, and Phillips, who apparently is going to be fit to go to the World Cup, who I don't think deserves to go to the World Cup because even before his injury, he wasn't getting picked by Man City at all. So CDM, Henderson, Rice or Calvin Phillips. Get involved. Should be quite a cruise through here. 91% of the vote for Declan Rice. I thought that would be the case. We won't dwell too long on that. We're working through. Let's go with box to box. So you got Bellingham, Ward-Prowse. Mark, make scones for cooking with Goldbridge, says Ronan. Can't beat a good scone, especially if you use clotted Cornish cream. Love it. Again, another easily win for Bellingham. I think everyone knows Bellingham and Rice is our best midfield too. And then the third midfielder for me is quite an interesting one, actually. I like Ward-Prowse. He's got to be part of the squad, by the way. Let's go with the more attacking midfielder, where you could go Mount, Maddison, or I think you could play Foden there as well. So Mount, Maddison or Foden in the more attacking midfield position. Dorset Cream Tea, Mark. Love it. Yeah. Spurs Marseille at half-time, Lewis. We're just coming out for the second half here. Guess who he's brought on? Yeah, you know it. Emerson Royale. Deserves to go out, I'm afraid. You're probably going to score a hat-trick now. Let me just start this timer for the second half. Come on, ref. And we're off. There we go. Okay, let's come back. See who would you play as your attacking midfielder, as I keep an eye on the game for you as well. Mount's got 18%, Maddison's got 28%, but it's Foden with 54%. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'd like to see Foden playing more centrally. Let's go to the left-hand side. Big up, Mark, as a Saints fan. You was a few people who was vocal on Ward-Prowse not going to the Euros. Nice to see someone backing him, says Aidan. Mate, I will lose my shit if Ward-Prowse doesn't go to the World Cup and Calvin Phillips does. I mean, I think that is 100% bullshit. Calvin Phillips was good in the Euros 2 years ago. But you know what? Madonna was a great pop star in the 80s. She ain't now. Like, move on. Bite it. Don't fight it. Ward-Prowse has been very good this season for Southampton. Calvin Phillips was never getting picked by Man City and then he got injured. You can't do that sort of thing. Got a goal for Napoli, by the way. Goal for Napoli. They're 1-0 up against Liverpool. Goal for Napoli. What a team. What a team they are. I just really hope that Napoli can sustain it for a longer period of time. Kvaratskhelia, who scored. United stand legend. We're going to do the left winger now. So this is an interesting thing on the left hand side actually, because I actually quite like Grealish for England, but Grealish, Sterling. Who else could play off the left hand side? I suppose he could play Rashford, couldn't you? Let's go with that. Grealish, Sterling, or Rashford. It was offside, apparently. I think it's going to be Rashford, and I think it's going to be on form, isn't it? On form, Rashford is playing better than Grealish and Sterling. It's a fact. Personally, I do like Grealish for England, but I think we all know that Southgate will start Sterling. But I don't, I think it's an interesting one. 51% going with Rashford, 32% going with Sterling, and 17% going with Grealish. It's a tough one. It doesn't seem right putting Rashford there. I've got to be honest, even though I'm a United fan and I like him. He's not played for England, I think, since the Euros. So, yeah, it's a tough one. I'll go with you on that. It doesn't feel right to do it, but then I look at Sterling and Grealish and they're not playing particularly well at the moment. Off the right-hand side, look, to be fair, you can still put Sterling as an option off the right. Of course you can. Saka, I think, is the main option against him. Good cross. Oh, Spurs, nearly. They're pushing now. This must be so annoying for Spurs fans. Must be so annoying for Spurs fans. You spend 45 minutes allergic to the opposition's half, and then you go 1-0 down, and it's like all out attack. It's like Southgate when we played Germany in that friendly. Shit, 2-0 down, and then suddenly it's like, let's go for it. And you think, why don't you fucking go for it from the start, you prat? Must be so frustrating. I find it frustrating, and I'm not even a bloody Spurs fan. Really, it's just the cross is just a little bit out of the way. The keeper does a great job to take it off Harry Kane's foot. Would have been a tap-in for Kane, but keeper's done great there. Lopez just palms it out. Saka has obliterated Sterling there. And talking of Harry Kane, remember when Kvaratskhelia was bought in the summer for 10 million and Romano was saying he'll be the Georgian Neymar, says Ronan. Crowd in Marseille is amazing, says Illumin. It is 1-0 to Napoli, by the way. It's not offside. Just a little bit of an insight into what's going on for Liverpool. It really doesn't matter much because they were struggling to finish top of the group anyway. Even if they'd won, I don't think they could have finished top of the group because of the head-to-head. They could have levelled up, but I don't think they could have finished top of the group unless they'd battered them, which was very, very unlikely. Napoli are a fantastic side at the moment. But the match stats are very interesting. 50-50 possession, 6 shots to 5. It's been a very equal game between Liverpool and Napoli, which just shows you Napoli's thing. It is offside, by the way. It is 0-0. It's not been given the goal. It was offside. It's been chalked off for offside there. So it's still 0-0 in a very equal game. Yeah, so Liverpool, even if they win, wouldn't go top because they'd have to win by 4 clear goals to do it. It is offside. It's still 0-0. Spurs are pushing more here. Yeah, Harry Kane up front. I can't think of it. Look, who would you play up front? I can't think of an alternative. 0-0 between Napoli and Liverpool. Callum Wilson, Tammy Abraham. Okay, look, we can run the poll, but Kane, Wilson, Abraham. Okay, get your votes in. Who should start for England? More attacking intent from Spurs in this half, by the way. Sorry, I'm just messaging a Spurs mate, an Aston Villa friend of mine who says they're looking forward to Sunday, Emery's first game in charge. And that's going to be a difficult game for United on Sunday as an early heads up, because we'll be very tired from Sociedad, which is a massive game on Thursday. And of course, Villa have had all week. Mark, I'm still baffled with Souness' deluded comments yesterday about Martinez and Casemiro, says Joseph. He's got more bitter in him than John Smith's. Oh, they've scored. 1-1. They've done it again from a set piece. Conte doesn't even react. You can't knock Spurs. It's a good goal, but I'll tell you what I knock Spurs for. That absolute shower of a shit first half, and then they go and attack in the second half. Longley, 1-1. It's not going to get turned over for the push, is it? No. Mark, what about Tony up front, says Jack? Now the thing is now Spurs will just sit back and defend. Harry Kane, 74% of the vote. No surprise there. So, current situation, Sporting and Spurs are through. Frankfurt would be in third place and Marseille would not be in Europe at all. Spurs have been a lot better second half though, haven't they? Marseille look very tired in this half now. So your England starting 11 for the World Cup would be Ramsdale in goal, Trippier at right back, Stones and Tomori, and then Luke Shaw at left back, Rice, Bellingham, Foden, Rashford, Kane and Saka. I mean, that's not a bad England side, is it? Is Lucas Moura? Terrible cross. I mean, that will never get picked by Southgate because he's a boring, waistcoat-wearing, negative manager who will play a back five. But that's what England could be under a manager that wanted to play football. I'm not saying it's good enough to win the World Cup, but Ramsdale, Trippier, Stones, Tomori, Shaw, Rice, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Kane, Rashford. I still think the back four is a little bit weak, but the midfield and the attack is very, very good. If United don't get top four, will you be Ten Hag out? No, FB, I won't. Anyone who's laughing about individual players that have been picked, there's 12,000 people watching and they voted for it. So you're laughing at 12,000 people. Try and do that. Try and laugh at 12,000 people and see what sort of reaction you get. Who did you prefer as Spurs manager, Conte or Poch? Says Big Mac. I definitely preferred Pochettino. They were a better team to watch. But I did like Spurs under Conte last season. From January to May, I thought they were really good to watch. I just don't know why, and I don't know whether anyone can answer this. Why did Conte just change the way Spurs play this season? I don't get it. It's not like he has bought players, but he doesn't start them anyway. So why are the same set of players playing more negative this year? I don't get it. I don't get it. Favourite for the World Cup for me, Daniel? I did think France, but I don't know what does the French team look like? What's the sort of team that they're picking? Let's have a look. So last game they played was... let's have a look at what they picked here. That's not right. Now I'm looking at the women. I couldn't recognise any of the names. I was looking at the women's team. I was like, who are these? Set me free, why don't you, babe? Get out my life, why don't you, babe? Good shot there. Goes over from Marseille. Yeah, I mean, France have got some good, very good players. The Nkunkus, the Camavingas, the Chouaminis, the Griezmanns, the Giroux, the Mbappés, the Dembélés. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a Brazil or Argentina win it, to be honest, but I'm not sure they will. Corner to Marseille. Spurs are changed now because they don't have Kulusevski, says Willie King. Big up, Mark. I've done that one about the Ward-Prowse thing. Yeah, who do you think is going to win the World Cup, everyone? I'd love Denmark to win it. Talis, I'd love Denmark to win it. Argentina, says Casey. A lot of people saying Brazil. Germany, not really for me, Germany. Not what I saw against England, Yash. I mean, Portugal would be a team that should be winning the World Cup, but again, they've got terrible managers. Goldbridge caught in 4K. Don't know what we're talking about there. I'm pretty good at not reading out the rude names anymore. Need to see my guy Fred hold up that World Cup trophy, says LJ. Germany or England, says Krish. Oh, I really don't see that. Really don't see that. I always used to like looking out for Mexico, but I don't think they're good enough this year. Spain. I just don't think Spain are the team they used to be. I mean, hopefully it's a wide open World Cup. USA, says Ben. I mean, I wouldn't say there's a lot of pressure on USA and Canada, but I think we are all expecting a bit of a improvement from USA and Canada. If Argentina win it, does it end the Messi debate, says Stuart? And Brazil have the best depth, says Ross. What about Sweden? I don't think Sweden have got the depth, have they? I mean, are Sweden in the World Cup? Or am I thinking of Norway? I know they're not. So half an hour to go here. It's looking good for Spurs at the moment. And at least Spurs this half are actually playing with a bit of attacking intent as well. I think England might struggle to even get out of the group, says Aram. Iran and Wales are underrated and USA could cause an upset. Wales, says Caden. Iran are massively underrated, says Blaze. I mean, I'm. You know what? I'm going to be watching most of the World Cup games, and I really hope that everybody's underrated. I don't like the World Cup to be boring. Hold on, this could. Oh, what a terrible ball! Mora wanted that into his path. He didn't get it into his path. Basuma with the cross. Harry Kane. He should have scored. He didn't, and it's gone for a corner. I'm hoping the worst game of the World Cup is the opening game. which is Qatar against, let's have a look, Ecuador. Second game is England against Iran. Yeah, Qatar against Ecuador, 2 weeks on Sunday. You got England, Iran, Senegal, Netherlands, and USA, Wales on day 2. Corner to Spurs here. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Denmark, Tunisia, Mexico, Poland. Cross comes in, and France, Australia on day 3. Morocco, Croatia, Germany, Japan, Spain, Costa Rica, and Belgium, Canada on day 4. Sweden aren't in the World Cup. I knew it. Opening game always has to be the host. Kane's onside. He's offside. He finished, but he was offside. I think that Australia-France game should be a win for France, but it's the sort of game in the World Cup, opening game, you might get a bit of a shock. Canada winning it with Davies and David, says Max. Look, I really hope USA and Canada do well. I do. I love it. I think we all love the underdogs in the World Cup. South Korea or Serbia to go far, Mark. Trust me, says Coast. I think Marseille need to commit more players forward here. Spurs have been the better side second half. They've responded. Good play by Kane. Slips Lucas Moura in. He's done well. Good defending. Spurs could put this to bed if they're not careful. If they're careful, another offside. I was just going through some of the teams in the World Cup there. Mexico, Poland, France, Australia, Denmark, Tunisia, Argentina, Morocco, Croatia, Germany, Belgium, Canada. That'll be a good game. Belgium, Canada. Spain, Costa Rica, Switzerland, Cameroon, Uruguay, South Korea, Brazil, Serbia, and Portugal, Ghana. Big up from Ireland, says Ronan. Big up, Ronan. So, as things stand, this obviously puts Spurs through. Sporting are drawing 1-1 with Frankfurt at the moment. So, what does that mean in relation to where Spurs stand at the moment? Well, as you'll see on the screen at the moment, Spurs are actually top of the group with 9 points. And then you've got Sporting and Frankfurt on 8. So, Spurs at the moment actually in a decent position. Top of the group. Obviously, that could change with a Sporting or Frankfurt goal. Or another goal for Marseille. Imagine Van Gaal press conference if he wins the World Cup, says Andre. Yeah, of course, he's the manager, isn't he? Matthew Pike says, I hate Spurs. Well, we're approaching the last 20 minutes now. Marseille are going to have to go for this. I think Spurs would like the second goal. Sporting are not first, funny videos, they are drawing. They can't be first if they're drawing. Considering they started a point behind Spurs and they've both got a point today, how can they leapfrog Spurs? Quick maths. I don't hate Spurs, Patrick. You know what I think Spurs' problem is at the moment? I think Spurs... I think obviously Arsenal fans don't like Spurs, and I get that. But as a Man United fan, I don't dislike Spurs. I think, in fact, Spurs have always been a team that you don't mark. They're quite inoffensive. They never win anything, but the reason people have a problem with Spurs at the moment is they're bloody boring, and that's always a worry if you're a fan, because not that you need to take notice of rival fans, but people don't like Spurs because they're boring. They're really boring, and it is becoming a problem. But it's only a problem if Spurs fans think that. But they're painfully boring. And Frankfurt are winning now, 2-1. So that puts Frankfurt top of the group, Spurs down to second. Which, even that won't bother Spurs fans too much because they're still in the Champions League. But it means you get a more difficult knockout game if you finish second. All I know is if Qatar even gets one win, FIFA would have to explain the blatant bribery, says Tamba. Go on, make a run. Oh, you lazy sod. Who would you go for next England manager, says Films. He says he'd go for Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe, why would Eddie Howe leave Newcastle for England? And why would not Gareth Southgate, why would Graham Potter leave Chelsea? They are the best two candidates, but they're not going to take the job, are they? So that to me leads to the next manager having to be foreign, because there is no English manager that I would, we don't have many good English managers, and when the top two won't take the job, you can't go for third choice. Because third choice is going to be someone like Lampard or Sean Dyche. And that's not good enough. So I would go foreign next. I'd love Poch to do it. Knows the Premier League. I'd love Arsene Wenger to do it, but I think he's too old. Gerrard. God, no. I'd rather keep Southgate, and that says something. Mark, what gave you the idea to start a Man United Fine channel, says James. Well, I was lying in a coma. No, I wasn't. I was lying on a lilo on holiday in Mallorca on a pool. And it was during the 2014 World Cup. I think. No, it was the Euros. Was it the World Cup? Must have been the World Cup. No, it was the Euros 2014, wasn't it? What am I on about? No, it was the World Cup. And I was just lying there thinking about football because I love it, and I was thinking, you know what? There is no good debate at all. It's all manipulated bullshit. So I'm going to start doing YouTube videos, and it started from there. And it was bad. It was bad at the start. Still 20 minutes to go here. Marseille need another goal. Rooney for England manager. God, no. And like that, a legend was born, says that racing guy. Yeah, on a lilo in Mallorca. Would you go with Tuchel, says Sebastian? Well, I'd go for Tuchel over Dyche or Lampard, yeah. There is a bit of controversy about Tuchel, though, because he's German. I mean, look, respect people's opinions, but for me, we're living in a world where equality and diversity is important, and you can't have a German England manager. I just think, Kane's been smacked in the face now. Oh, it smacked me in the face. It's not funny. I might have a face mask, but it really hurt. Does anyone watch Trawlermen on BBC? Or am I the only one? I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't even like fishing. And I get very seasick even if I just walk across a bridge. But I love Trawlermen. I love it. I'm going to watch it. I haven't watched this week's. Basically just tells the story of 3 different boats fishing. Can they get enough fish? Mark, Bielsa to manage England, says Will Green. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all. It's like that Ice Road Truckers. That used to be bloody good as well. Jesse Marsh to manage England. Well, he manages Leeds at the moment. I think Marseille now, they just look like they're struggling to create anything. Mark, did you ever listen to Oasthouse Season 2, says Aaron? I haven't yet. It's on my list to do, but I haven't done it yet. I need to download it. Alan Partridge from the Oasthouse. I liked the first season. Mark, have you ever Googled your net worth, says Jamie? No, because I know it's bollocks, because people tell me. As an English Canadian, more excited to watch Canada, says Max. Boris Johnson for next England manager, says Luke. I'd rather he was manager than Southgate, to be honest. The Witcher is my favourite, says Chloe. Well, what do you think about them changing old, what's his name's face? Henry Cavill. I can't stand the idea. He's not bloody Doctor Who. You can't just change the main character's face. Have you watched the Jeffrey Dahmer series? Says Julian. No, I don't think I will. I think it's a bit too disturbing. Oh my God. Emerson Royale is a disgrace, isn't he? What a disgrace. He gets shoulder barged and he goes down like he's been hit in the face. He should be booked himself for that. I think you're a shit footballer, and I think that sort of behaviour is shit as well. Should get booked himself for that. Goes down clutching his face when he's been hit in the shoulder. You should do a watch along for the first United Stand episode. Comedy Gold, says Mark. Theresa May would be brilliant, says Belka. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. We're only about 20 off 801,000. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Champions League is a bit dead at the moment. I'm not doing Champions League watch-alongs tomorrow because the games are completely and utterly pointless. So tomorrow night I'm going to paint the fence. And that's not a secret word for something sexual. I mean, what would it be, paint the fence? Oh, God, the thought. God, what could that be a sexual innuendo for? Ugh. Trim the bush. Clear out the loft, if you know what I mean. What? No, I don't know what you mean. Danny Dyer for England manager, says Max. I'd like Graham Souness to be the manager. I'd tell you what, I'd love Graham Souness to be the England manager. I know he wouldn't do it because he's Scottish, but I'd love Graham Souness to be the next bloody Southampton manager again. I'd love it. I've played the game. I've played the game. I'd love it. I'd love to see what he does. Goldbridge will be getting a manager's job next week. Football Manager I've not done it for a couple of years. Goldbridge is back on Football Manager next week. I'm very excited. And I'm not starting with a big job. I'm going to start in the lower leagues to really prove what I'm all about. I don't need millions. Quality is quality. Goldbridge ball in the National League. Ollie is England manager, says Mike. That's it. I've had enough. I've had enough of this rubbish. Liverpool have scored to make it 1-0 apparently. It won't make a massive difference for Liverpool because they still won't top the group. But it'd be a nice result for them in what has been quite an equal game. With all the big teams dropping down to the Europa, is it more likely that we'll want to restart the Super League talks? Barca, Juve, Atletico, says Aram. Don't know, mate. Where will you do Football Manager? Tim, I think the highlights will probably get loaded up on here because that's what I do with FIFA. But yeah, I'll definitely stream it on Twitch. Can you wish happy birthday to my Juventus, 125 years old? Says Abd. Is it Juventus' birthday today? I do like Juventus. Happy birthday, old lady. Will you have Kamada and Trossard at United, says Joseph. I'm not really thinking about things like that, Joseph, at the moment. Loving the Stony. You know, Stone Island jumpers, I've always liked them. And Gary Neville wears them. Because I'm mad for it. I'm from Manchester, mad for it. I'm fucking mad for it, I'm telling you. Yeah, I do like them. They're very bloody expensive. But I've always liked them, and I did treat myself to this. I think I got it this year. I'm tempted to get another one. Should start with Solihull Moors, says Bay. I think it'd be a very good start. I think it's the right sort of club. Jose for England, says Danny. It's my local as well. Stats from Barca game. Plaza have had 20% of the ball and 16 shots, says Rohit. Oh, he's at the bar! Højbjerg, he's smashed the Denver bar there. That's unlucky for Spurs, and with 10 minutes to go, that would have been it. Marseille just haven't transitioned quick enough from back to front, you know. Obviously, Juve didn't play the game because they missed Pogba's medical report. They wanted to blame United to escape. Yeah, look, I read that. I don't know how true this is, but apparently somebody from Juventus or somebody close to Juventus was moaning that Man United must have known that Pogba had an injury and was sort of like trying to blame us. He was a free agent. Like, it's nothing to do with United. He was a free agent. Thoughts on Matt Hancock going on I'm a Celebrity, says Aaron. Well, I think he's got the personality of a broom cupboard. So here we go. Harry Kane. What a tackle. What a tackle. He can't believe it. I just bought a hoodie, to be fair. It's 20% off at Flannels, says C. Thank you very much for giving us that information. Great tackle. Kane was through. So Spurs have had two big chances here in the last few minutes to finish them. What's the Twitch name, says Biggie? Goldbridge TV on Twitch. I'll be live on it 3 o'clock tomorrow. FIFA career mode. Oh, God. Monday was a shit stream. That's why people want the highlights. Oh, Spurs getting caught in possession. Oh, good block. Who's fisting the crowd there? Centre-back for Spurs blocks a shot with 9 minutes to go and he's going like that to the crowd. Too early, mate. Too early. Somebody said the table's wrong. It should be Sporting top. Mate, you need to get better internet. Sporting are losing. That's why Frankfurt are top. Sporting are out at the moment. No, Sporting should be third. It is wrong. 8 minutes to go. Yeah, ignore that. The top's right, but Sporting shouldn't be third at bottom. They've got 8 points. There's a glitch in the matrix. Look at all the subs Marseille have made there. Look at all the red arrows. It's like the red arrows flying over. They've got so many red arrows. Look at that formation of the red arrows there. Well, it's a white arrow, to be fair. Højbjerg getting the boast. Is all the injuries for England a worry for our World Cup run? And who is your starting front three without injuries? Love the content and cooking with Goldbridge is Charlie. Cooking with Goldbridge is going to be back. It's going to be back. Oh no, of course Sporting did start with 7 points. I thought they started with 8. I'm getting confused now. That league is right. It is right. Mark, sign Aaron Hickey from Brentford, says Ronan. Sporting is 4th. Sorry, I wrongly thought they had 8 points at the start. It was Spurs who had 8 and Sporting and Frankfurt had 7. I think Marseille are going to struggle here. They've got to go all out in the last 5 minutes. Could be a big moment here in the next 5 minutes. I'm sure there will be. Can Spurs hold on? Mark, thoughts on Andrew Tate? Love the content. Says I've never really watched much of Andrew Tate's content, to be honest, and I haven't really heard of him in ages. I don't really hear or see of him anymore, so I don't really have anything to say. I can't say I've deep dived his content enough to know if it's an act or what. So. Five minutes to go. Marseille need to score. Spurs are second in their group at the moment, but they are through to the knockout stage as things stand. Do you have to play the game to be a manager, says Rohit? No. Will we still do United Stand FC while you're doing Football Manager, says Ed? I'll probably just take a break for a couple of weeks. Mark, can you call my mate Ollie? Billy Bob. I don't know what that means, so I can't call him that name. Super Bowl's not soon, Bath, but it's not far away. I love my Super Bowl stream. 2 streams I love of the year. My charity stream and the Super Bowl stream. I wouldn't say they're the best, but I do love them because they come around every year once and they're just unique streams. I enjoy them. I love the charity stream because it just restores my faith in society. 30 grand we raised last year. Well, more than 30 grand. Cross corner. Come on, Marseille, says Talking Ben. Well, they've got a corner here, Talking Ben. They've took it short. I don't know why they're not whipping it in, really. They scored from a corner. Whip it in. Favourite horror movie, Mark, says Foxy. Bambi. I don't really do horror movies, you know. There was a horror movie about a clown. There was a sequel to it. Oh, I read the summary of it. Bloody nasty clown. Has Eden Hazard been found? Stamford Bridge vlog, says Charlie. Oh my God! What? That was the chance on the back post. And it's ex-Arsenal player Kolasinac. The cross came in. And he missed. I don't know how he's missed it. It wasn't it. Oh my God. What a miss. You wouldn't believe it. I can't believe it. What a miss. Terrifier, that was what it was called. It's a terrible miss. Arsenal player misses sitter to send Spurs out. They won't like him anymore. I tell you, that's the chance. That's it. Marseille are going to go out now. That chance was absolutely a sitter. Marseille is happy with Europa League, I think, says Ramandeep. They're very lucky to get Europa League. What a chance. Cross to the back post. He's completely unmarked. He's about 3 yards out and he heads it wide. They've been better second half, Spurs. I'll keep saying this about Spurs. You need to open up a little bit more. Well, Spurs are on the attack here with 2 minutes to go. Mark, have you watched Andor, the new Star Wars show, says Chris? I've watched bits of it. I will give it a go because I finished bloody Lord of the Rings, which was arguably a lot worse. So I will stick with it. But yeah, I need to be in the right frame of mind. I've just finished House of the Dragon, which I quite liked. Purple Butterfly says, it's embarrassing for Spurs not to top this group. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, what a film, Mark, says Joseph. Of course, if Spurs were to score, they would top the group. Do I like prawn cocktail quavers, says Sue. There's very few prawn cocktail things I don't like. I like prawn cocktail crisps, and that's it. Prawn cocktail Pringles are still crisps. There's only a minute to go of normal time. They've had their chance, Marseille. That Kolasinac chance was the chance. Scampi fries are nice. Just wash your hands afterwards. Because trust me, if you... Yeah. Hold on, Marseille. They're on the attack. Move it. Edge of the box. Twat. Absolute twat. Greedy twat. You've got a pass there. That needed to go to Alexis Sanchez and you went for glory. Never going to score from there in a million years. What the fuck's he doing, says Shaq. Yeah. Prawn toast is nice. Alvin Block says, come on Spurs. 4 minutes added on. Højbjerg's dived down to the ground. Sporting game is over. So at the moment, Frankfurt top the group. That'll be a nice... Frankfurt will be a nice draw for somebody who's finished second in the group. Liverpool. That'll be a good draw for Liverpool. Frankfurt top, if they get it. When are they doing the draw for the Champions League? Because normally it's in December, isn't it? Are they doing it next week? I wonder if the Champions League draw is happening early. They won't want to wait, will they? They might want to do it. I reckon that might be coming soon. Monday, November the 7th. There you go. Another cross in by Marseille. They've got 2 minutes here. I don't think they'll do it now. I think Spurs are good enough to defend this. Good cross. Lloris has got that offside anyway. Mark, those questions you gave Ben were all hard. It was a trap, DJ. He's been getting too big for his boots. Like on the Ben Foster show, he does the quiz every week, right? And before he reads a question and someone gets it wrong and he goes, wow, that was so easy. Wow, next question. And they get it wrong. Wow, that was so easy. So we had to bring him down a peg or two there. Yeah, we had to. Liverpool play Spurs on Sunday. I think Liverpool will win. Even though it's at Spurs. I think Spurs have done well to get through the group. I think they're in a bad way at the moment. They've done enough to get through, Spurs. Marseille missed a big chance, but at least they're in the Europa League. It's not been Marseille could have been out of Europe completely tonight, but Spurs, I mean, to be honest, Spurs' best chance of a trophy is the Europa League, but obviously you want to stay in the Champions League. Liverpool have beaten Napoli 2-0, but they'll still finish second in the group. Mark, I just bought the Christmas sweater. I'm going to look real nice this Christmas, says Ringy. Cheers, pal. This is it. It's all or nothing for Marseille now. And it looks like it's going to be nothing. Mark, yeah, thank you very much for that. Right, Spurs are on the attack. There's only 20 seconds to go. You run for the corner. No, they've still got a chance. Got to move it. Why didn't you pass that, you twat? Why don't Marseille play the simple pass? Got to move it. There's 5 seconds left. What an idiot. He's still dribbling. Who is this Pratt? You've got to pass it forward. He's going to blow the whistle. Oh, he'll blow the whistle. That'll be it. What are they? I don't know what Marseille were doing. Oh, and Spurs could win the game. And they have. Top of the group. That is completely on Marseille. Højbjerg. Spurs top the group. I'd be fuming. And they go out. Marseille go out. I mean, what were they doing? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know what? They deserve to go out. They absolutely deserve to go out. They're not even in the Europa League now. Whoever that Pratt was, who was dribbling forward slowly and passing it sideways, I'd check his bank account. There was 5 seconds to go and he's dribbling the ball forward. You just got to hoof it forward. You're a fucking idiot, mate. You've literally cost your team European football. I don't know who it was. Well done to Spurs for winning the game, by the way. But Marseille are out of Europe completely. Completely out because some dickhead from the back starts dribbling it out slowly. Kolasinac, what a chance he had as well. Absolute unbelievable. I don't know what they were trying to do. They were trying to play little tiki-taka ball in the last 5 seconds. You've got to hoof it. You've got to hoof it. Mad. Anyway, look, well done to Spurs. You can't knock it away from them. They've won the game. They've topped the group. And they'll get knocked out very, very quickly if they have to play anybody good because they're not very good themselves. Having said that, Spurs fans will hope that the World Cup, the January transfer window, the return of injured players may make Conte play a little bit more expansive because I tell you what, your football's shit. Absolute shit. They've got to. I can't. My big question to Spurs fans is why are you playing that shit football when for the last 4 months of last season you played such good football? I don't get it. I don't know why you're so boring, but what an exciting finish to the game. If I was a Marseille fan, I'd be sick. I'd be absolutely sick. But there we go. Thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed that. Football, eh? You just never know what's going to happen. But it's good for Sporting. They're into the Europa League, so they could end up playing with Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo's not going to go to Sporting in January because they're not in the Champions League. So has anybody ever thought about that? There we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. No Champions League watch-along tomorrow night because they're all shit games. There's nothing exciting about any of them. But we're back at the weekend and we've got a Super Sunday and there'll be some FIFA highlights tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for getting involved. Take care.